Hello, all. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to Indian Federation of Spiritual Scientists, yet another master session. I'm sure all of us has been waiting eagerly for this session. Welcome, Gaurav Paliwal ji. Good morning.
Namaskar, Sunil
Namaskar.
ji.
Namaskar. Well, for the viewers, just to give you introduction about IFSS. IFSS was formed by Brahmashri, the late Brahmashri Subhash Patriji and the late Indu Jain, who was the founder of Times Group. This was conceived by them, and the very objective was to bring all the spiritual masters and spiritual schools to one common platform to exchange their knowledge and wisdom with the science element. I know we are all human. As human beings, we are very logical. So we want to bring that logical element with the spirituality. And there is host of information out there. There is host of knowledge out there. And the very purpose was to bring everyone to this common platform so that we can learn from each other. So today is yet another beautiful day, and we are going to have an amazing session with Gaurav Paliwal ji. Well, before getting into the topic, let me introduce Gauravji. Well, he is one of a personality who needs a very good introduction, and let me see if I can do justice to it. Well, Gaurav is an engineer by profession, an experimenter by nature, and spiritual by belief. Now, most of us have this logical mindset. So he is a combination of the logical side, the experimenter, and also the spiritual. So that's a beautiful combination. He learned yoga and kriyas for over 25 years ago. He's been practicing pranayama and meditation for the last 4 years and followed different spiritual schools and masters like Isha Foundation, Sadhgurus, and Pyramid Meditation, and many more. With these organizations, he has learned a lot of techniques, a lot of programs, certifications, and across, India and outside, like US and many other parts of the world. Last 4 years, he has been spending time on, I would say, quality time on researching the quantum physics. And his motto is now to spread the knowledge and awareness of meditation, specifically in the youth. So this caught my attention. Quantum physics, we heard a lot, and spirituality and meditation. What is this combination all about? And he has been doing this thorough research from last many years. So today we have an amazing topic, emotional baggage, how to identify them and how to, unload your emotional baggage. We all have been carrying a lot of emotional baggage. How to relieve oneself from various pains in our, life. And he's going to teach us, he's going to explain a lot of techniques, rather simple techniques in this session. So, Gauraji, this is really intriguing. And my first question is, why this topic? I know emotional baggage, we all are very well aware of this emotional part. We all carry a lot of baggage. At the peripheral, I must say, we know a lot of things. But I'm sure that knowing is still just tip of the iceberg. There is a lot, many more within. Why this topic and how is it going to be relevant to us? If you can probably, throw some light on that.
Sure, Sunil ji, and that's a very, bullseye question, because the question comes that, okay, this is really a topic which is of concern or interest to everyone. But still, why we link it with spirituality, science, or, sometime in general, simply the life. Because what I have found is not only by applying it on myself, but on some other people, that how simple it is. It's really, not that complex. Unfortunately, we know more about, say, all the things around us than ourselves. That means we know very little about how to deal with inner self than to deal with the outer world. And that really, once it caught my attention and I started working more and more on this, because it doesn't matter the age. Everybody needs it. Either in one time or the other in your lifetime or on a longer time scale. And we suffer. Suffer, I'm using the word because in the physical body sense. But if we are aware of these simple techniques, really we can make our life blissful. We can not only help ourselves, but if we help ourselves, then only we can help others. So this is the bottom line. Yeah, it's not complex. It's really simple. And only when a person comes out of it, you really know what the potential of this life is. Because it's easy. We say blissfulness, all those big words sometime, but only when you experience blissfulness, you know what it means. And if the path is not that difficult, then why not? Why not that each one of us experience, taste that, what it is, and then explore our life and explore our capabilities beyond that. So that's the reason that it is so interesting or close to my heart.
Wow. Fantastic. We are eager to hear more about this.
Yes, and this is actually what I'm going to present today is part of the workshop that I'm preparing, which is a complete package. So this is a big part of it. And whether online or in person, things are possible nowadays both ways. But really acting on it is the key. So dear masters, what we'll talk about today is emotional baggage. So we will look into this topic, that what it is, first of all, because that's important to clarify what we are talking about. And then, how to go about it means how can we help ourselves, know more details that, okay, what it is, how we can identify. And once you identify, and if you can nail down that, okay, this is my issue, root cause, then some solution. Because without a solution, knowing a problem is only the halfway. What can we do? And then we will see a complete picture. So when we say unload, right, your emotional baggage, so first let's see, okay, what are we talking about? So first is the awareness. First you have to know about. If you want to work on any topic, first we have to know about it. And then only we can reduce and eventually eliminate it. We cannot jump on elimination of something that we are not even aware of. And generally, you can't go from 100 to 0. That means you go step by step. You bring whatever that topic you are working on slowly so that your result is sustainable. Sometimes, you can achieve something quickly, but then it goes away also quickly. So that's why we can say, in other words, that awareness is a prerequisite of the act of reducing something. An act of reducing will be the prerequisite to eliminate. So, like anything else, whether meditation, spirituality, you go step by step. And that is the right way, because then the success or sustainability. And the reason I'm stressing on sustainability is because you may have seen yourself or people around you. People come to say spirituality or these topics, whether it is quantum physics, whether it is any of different ways you look at it, and then they leave. That means they don't sustain. And many times you talk to people, they say, I was doing meditation, I had a lot of benefits, but I'm not doing it now. And you wonder why. So that's where the sustainability is the key, because it is not a one-time deal. And the reason is, once we understand this, because now we come to the topic, which is emotional baggage. This is not something that, okay, whatever had happened in my life, let me deal with it. No, because every day we are experiencing some emotion or the other. So this should become your way of life. It's not like, okay, I'm having headache and I take a pill. That's one-time deal. So what is emotional baggage? Because this baggage, why we are calling it, because anything that has become emotional stress, a burden, though it has originated in the past, and past could be any, but you are still carrying the energy in the present moment. That is why it as an issue. It's an issue for you because it's a negative energy that you are still carrying. Because when we say stress, burden, any event that has happened in your life that is causing you stress means it is having negative effect on your well-being. So if we do not take care of these unresolved mental blockage, they will dictate your quality of life. Why? Because your behavior is coming from your thought process. They are influencing your thoughts. So that means they are affecting the way you feel, the way your emotions are, which will impact your behavior. And it will influence the choices you are making in your day-to-day life. It is really preventing you from, being the best you can to reach your optimum level. Very simple example. Suppose, you are late to work and there is traffic. Now your behavior will be totally different than if you would have left 10 minutes ago. Because now you're behind schedule, you're 10 minutes late, and now that traffic is really bothering you. You are getting agitated, you are getting upset. But if you would have left 10 minutes ago, same traffic, same environment, you would have handled it differently, much calmer. So let's not blame the environment. The events, they will happen because in this human form, we have come to experience emotion. That's the fact. That means events will come in our life. How do we handle those events is up to us. And that's where this topic of wisdom can help us. Because if they are getting into the negative side, means that those energy which is coming on day to day is negative. It is really becoming anchor in our life and slowing us down. Now, whenever we talk of such thing, first thing comes to our mind is karma. And we say, okay, this must be my bad karma if something bad is happening. Or if something good happens, we say, oh, good karma. But ultimately, what matters is the experience, because the soul is experiencing whatever is happening in our day-to-day life. Now, what happens here? Whenever anything good happens, as I mentioned, sometimes we say, oh, good karma, I must have done something good in the past. So generally, we say karma means past life, right? Not 100%, but generally that's what people reflect, or your past. And experience is this life, what you are experiencing now. So if your experience is good, no issue. If it is okay, still no issue. Why? Because the body can handle it very effectively. So what the body does is, there are different mechanisms, whether by sweat, by your waste, through urine and all, by your even breathing. A lot of toxins are taken care and they exit the body. Bigger issue comes when your experience is not good. That means the experience is bad. So, good one, body can handle well. Whenever we have negative emotions, negative kind of experiences, those emotions get stuck in our body. Now we say, how can emotion get stuck in the body? So again, if we review this mechanism, your thoughts is the starting point. Gives you feeling, gives you emotion. So based on the feeling, you get emotion. Based on the emotion, the body will produce different hormones. In general, we can say different chemicals. Our body is producing on a regular basis. If you are sad, you are stressed, adrenaline, cortisol, you will have those stress-related hormones. If you are happy, if you are excited, you will have totally different set, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. You have totally different sets, which is making you feel good versus when you are stressed. Now, depending on the stress and the topic related to it, these hormones or chemicals, if we may call them, go and get attached to different part of our body. There are different emotions attached to different organs. And that is why sometimes somebody may have heart issue, somebody may have liver issue, kidney issue, because different emotions goes to different part of our body. And then we develop what we call energy blockage. You may have heard about nadis, or in Chinese they call meridians. And this is invisible energy flow in the body. And we'll talk about it a little later in the presentation as well. But this is what we are referring to, the energy body, not the physical. Because we have 7 layers, and this topic, we are directly talking about energy body. So if there is a blockage in the energy flow in any particular part, this is the first kind of warning. Now the question is, it is invisible, how will I know? And that's where this topic comes into play. So if we do not take care of it and it stays there for longer, now it is on its journey to come to your physical level. And once you have it in your physical level, now we go to a doctor or someone and say, I am having this pain or this effect or something or the other. Symptom comes. Still we don't take care of it. That symptom becomes permanent, and now you have a disease or illness. So why not stop it where it is getting generated? And that's where these thoughts or emotions are so critical. So what are the common ones? Because these thoughts, the issue is not that I have the thought. Bigger issue is I don't know how to handle it, and I'm upset not only today, but next week, next month, and maybe for 10 years, who knows? For example, you may remember something that you didn't like, or somebody said to you, or some event happened in your life 10 years ago. If you remember something which you didn't like, so good or bad is a relative thing, but something you didn't like means a bad thing for you, and you are angry with that person or whatever, that means that emotion is stuck in you. Very simple. So you don't have to go to any, kind of scanning or anything. If you can recall quickly, the moment I see this person, I get angry. There it is. There is something stuck. Doesn't matter what the person did or said to you. If you have that emotion, it is harming you, your health. What will happen to the other person, even if that person really did something bad to you? Doesn't matter. Nothing is happening to that person because of that emotion, but you are certainly getting hurt. So what are those typical emotions that we go through? Guilt. It's a silent killer. Shame, regret. Okay, whether you did something or you said something to someone, it's done. There are ways to deal with it. Communicate, resolve it. But if you live with the guilt, sometimes parents have guilt. Oh my God, I didn't support my child. Sometimes child have, as a children, we have about parents that, in their old age, I could not be with them because I'm away. I'm living in a different city, different country. Doesn't matter. You did nothing wrong, but you have guilt. And it's affecting your health every day. Why? Because that is sitting in your back of your mind, subconscious mind, and it is pinching you without you being realized 24/7. It impacts your sleep, it impacts your health, everything. Sometimes, you had a fight with the parent just before they pass away, or one of the parent, and now you are in guilt for the rest of your life. Oh my God, why didn't I, even if you were worried about their health and you are, angry that why you are not taking care of your health. It doesn't matter. At the end, you are upset. And now you are in guilt. So if you have guilt, one thing is sure, that you have acknowledged. You have acknowledged whether it's mistake, whatever happened, and you know very well it is unresolved. That's why it is causing you issue. And that is the first mechanism that we must be aware of. In this physical form, why are we here? The only major reason we are here is to experience emotion. That's why the soul has come. Without human body, the soul cannot experience human emotion. That means we will have different emotions daily basis. Our neighbors, families, colleagues. So that's not an issue why we are having emotions. How to deal is the question. Then failures. We have a narrative that we feed ourselves every day. Oh, I'm not good. I can never be successful. I'm the most unlucky person. Nothing good ever happens. Doesn't matter where it is coming from, this life or the past. The first person who will know such thing exists is you. No doctor, no psychiatrist or anyone can tell you better than you yourself, because it's going in your mind, in your thought process. It's a chattering. From outside, the body can really be smart and camouflaging it. You see a person and you say, like celebrities, oh, wow, how happy that person looks like. I wish I had such life. Or really what's going in their life, you may not know at all. So from outside, everything looks rosy. Inside what's happening, we have no idea. Similarly here, it. Don't worry this life or the past. If you have any such feeling, narrative, you're always feeding what you think about yourself. That's the key thing. Inner criticism, which comes a part of that as failure. And then, sometimes we say you are your worst enemy. Why do we say to a person? Because that person is criticizing oneself, for everything. Very simple thing. Somebody cooks a food and the person himself or herself says, oh, salt is more, or this is not proper, or this. Why? You think it's a simple act, but your brain is getting negative energy. It's not positive. Sometimes we talk about kids. Even if the person, your child gets 95% and, still we have criticism. Why? Because inside it has become our habit. So if during our childhood, sometime, parents say, oh, you are stupid, or you are this, you don't know this. And then we accept that as who we are. And now it has become you. So you have low self-esteem. You have that part which is permanent. That means now you have become into that negative chattering thing. It is toxic. And if you have that toxic thoughts all the time, how can you be praising yourself? So, self-image, what narrative you have, if you're always blaming yourself, that is very key. And again, only you can. Just this. Now, grief is one thing which relatively easier. You would know that, yes, you lost a friend, you lost some family member, neighbor, it could be colleague, and it can hit you hard. Sometimes, they say girls should not be hurt and boys don't cry. It's a very wrong thing. It's putting a pressure, especially, on boys to say, hey, I cannot cry. I'm a man. How can I cry? No, crying is a method to get rid of that grief. You are in grief, you're not crying or you're not letting it go. You're trying to show I'm bored. You are holding that grief. Similarly for girls, when we say, they should not be hurt, they should be quiet. Why? Communication is a very big mechanism in our body. You don't use it, you are holding it inside. Nothing wrong in taking it out that, yes, I have this emotion, it's a loved one, and I'm resolving it. What's wrong in it? Fear. Fear is something that is, in different degrees. It's very common. And nothing wrong in having a fear. Identify it. Which is that emotion? Why I'm having, is it fear of height, fear of water, fear of, public speaking? It could be hundreds of different reasons. Question is, how do we first identify and then work on it again to reduce and then eliminate? Because fear, negative energy is not doing any good to us. Identification, again, is up to you. Resentment, this is another thing. Doesn't matter what has happened. any unfavorable circumstances, and we say, why it happens to me? And again, your narrative, inner criticism, everything can combine this. And whether it's parents or children, again, neighbors, colleagues, doesn't matter where it is coming from. But this resentment, like a snowball effect, it will grow. So if we do not stop at the early stage, it becomes our daily life. Sometimes you have colleagues or family members, anytime you meet or friends, the first topic will be criticizing someone or, just talking negative about something. Then personal, somebody adding to it. If you identify that as a negative energy for you, move away. You don't have to join that group. Find a group which is positive. Why? Even if you are listening, it's a food for the body. Food does not mean what we eat. What you are hearing, what you are smelling, what you touch, feel, everything is food. Because it is impacting your thoughts. The experiment in science lab in the school, even if you're not a science student, it's a tuning fork. You take one tuning fork, you hit with the other, and if it is the same frequency, you bring the other one next to it and it will start vibrating. Same thing happens with us. You are a positive person, but if all day you are in the company of negative people, what you will expect? After some time, you will see you are becoming negative. Do the reverse. Join more positive people than you and become more positive. Now, you don't have to go away from your family members, friends, but limit. Again, the key is balance. If you were spending 4 hours with them, spend 2. Start reducing so that they don't feel, hey, you are neglecting me. No, but you don't have to be there whole day. And of course, any tragedy, any psychological trauma, this happens. You cannot avoid. It's life. Sometime it happens. Whether it's some accident, whether it is something else, but it can really leave a deep-rooted and long-lasting impact on you. You cannot change the history, but you can deal with it. Absolutely, because then it will change what chemicals, what behavior, what emotions you will have. You can identify this based on your own behavior, because you would know or others can help you with that you behave in this time like this, and then it's easy to identify. Now, very briefly, let's look at the chakras. What are chakras? This is not something which came up in 50, 100 or 200 years. This we are going thousands and thousands of years. We can't even say, should we say 5,000, 10,000 or what? But it's an old wisdom that I think we can all agree to. Now, what are these? These are invisible energy paths. Chakra means, if we talk about only 7 main chakras, though there are much more, 114 we can talk, and 108, what's inside the body, some outside the body. So the 7 main chakras, these are the points where most of the nerves ending or the nerves comes and meet. These are energy centers. It is scientific. So you can see thousands of years old wisdom, and now science has, identified these locations are very specific. The way the body is and your nerves and we think only brain has thinking power. No, each chakra, your heart, they're very powerful. Now, each of these chakras, you can see they are represented by a different color. And these colors were not decided today. They were, again, we go thousands of years. So let's look at each chakra, and we go from the root, the bottom, which is chakra number 1. We go all the way 7, which is crown chakra. These are the main ones. And if you see the color they are indicated with, you start bottom with the red, and when you go to the top, violet. Each color has associated wavelength, frequency, energy, these are interchangeable. When you see rainbow, right, again, when you're very young in the school, we use the term Vibgyor to remember the 7 colors of the, right? Whenever you see in the sky after rain and you see a rainbow, you say, yeah. And what are these chakras? You take the first letter VIBGYOR, which is Vibgyor. So same as rainbow. So is it a coincidence? No, the lowest, when you see root chakra, you see the energy is lowest. As you go to the top, the energy becomes highest. And why we say crown chakra at the top? Why not the other way around? So you see, these are all linked. These are all wisdom proven over generations, not just some scientist in the lab for 50 years has come up with something. And that is the beauty of this. But unfortunately, today we say, prove it to me. Why should I believe these, the old things still has some validity? In fact, science is way behind. They are catching up with this wisdom. Now, still you may have that, okay, how do I believe? Because everything we say, emotions and whatever, ultimately it will come down to energy. So there is one thing which is BioWell, this device, what you can see in the image, this I have, and I use it regularly on me. There is another way to know your body energy or app. There is a health or Heart Math Institute. Basically, they have inner balance. They have another app or instrument, and there may be many more. The BioWell, why I use it is it gives me all three, whether it is Ayurvedic, means your chakras, whether it is meridians, which is the Chinese, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, or allopathic, which means my whole energy body. So it gives you all the organ systems. So you can see here, it gives me all muscular system, nervous system, digestive system, all the systems. It will show how the energy, and then left and right side, all you can see the organs and the systems. And where it helps is as you do meditation, this is my own, so I can share. This was much like before, not when I started meditation, in between when I bought this instrument. So the chakra alignment and the energy should be 4 to 6, means 5 is ideal. So as you do meditation, as you do different practices, you can experiment. And that's what I did. So I said, okay, if I'm doing this, I should have better balance, better alignment. And as I saw, it's moving positive, and now like 96% chakra aligned, because if it is the better alignment, means the better balancing on left and right side. That means I'm able to manage my emotions well. The moment my emotion changes, these position changes, because these are based on your emotions. So this checks the 3 levels, your physical level, mental level, and psychosomatic, because the combination of mental and physical. So you can have all 3 indications. Now, it doesn't mean unless you have this, you cannot know. This is years back, 3-4 years back, when I was trying to prove this, how everything works and quantum physics and whatnot. So it really helped me in initial stages. Now, certainly I use it for my benefit to experiment certain things, but it's not that without that you cannot. The point is, does it really work, or is it true, all these concepts? Another way to look at it is looking at consciousness. This is another thing which is different. You can have perception, but if we talk about Dr. David's work, which he spent big time, 25 years is a long time, going over 250,000, that's a huge number. And he had the numbering system. So what he did after all this is, a simple a chart where you can see the numbering starting from 20 and then go all the way top, where you are going to roughly 700,000, which is nirvana or enlightenment. But what it shows here is just like in chakra, we say most of the people spend most of their life in the bottom 3 chakras. Why? Because of these emotions, guilt, shame, and all those trauma and whatnot. And based on the numbering, you can see that you are in the survival mode. And this is so common, feeling of, all the guilt, feeling of like I'm no good, whatever we were talking about, your anger issue, fear, all the grief, shame, everything comes on the bottom of the list. As you start working on your emotions, as you start dealing with them, then you go a little higher and you start coming out of it. Like in terms of chakras, we say it really takes effort to come from 3rd to 4th. 4th is your heart. So to come there, because the moment you hit 4th and up, now the energy has come out and it has started healing. So you do need first three. It's not that you don't need energy there, but most of it is stuck there. So as you move to, put it to use, some good use, that's what happens. And as you move towards peace and enlightenment, then you stay in joy and love all the time, not just during meditation. So what does this mean? No level we are saying is good or bad. It's not like 0 or 100 is, not good or bad. 1,000, okay. Whatever your level, that doesn't matter. What matters is, have you acknowledged? Have you understood? And are you working on it or not? Because if you have awareness of that, that means you are working on yourself. That means you are looking inside rather than outside. And for that, you have to have trust, faith in this, belief, and then you have to surrender. You cannot keep going and say, I think, okay, it's a good thing, but I don't know whether it will work for me or not. I don't know whether it will really make any difference. So you have doubt. You cannot achieve really great results whenever you have a doubt on something. So you have to drop your ego. Doesn't matter. At one time, as I mentioned 4 years ago, when I was going through this, because, as engineering by profession, gives you that, why kind of logic, everything you question, no, prove it to me, show it to me. So if you also have that, nothing wrong in it, get your answers, but then you have to have the trust and faith. Take your time, but once accepted, then don't keep doubting and keep bouncing back and forth, because then it will not help you. Once you've understood, then surrender, believe in it. You'll be amazed. You'll be surprised again and again. You will get the validation, but you have to have that surrender and drop your ego. Sometimes, so we think, I know everything, or I know a lot of things, and all those kind of things. Drop your ego. Say, okay, I know, understood, but there is a lot that I don't know. With that attitude, when you accept and start working, then you will see a big change. So, you may wonder that what is your current consciousness level? Okay, don't worry about the numbering. First, it depends on your spiritual journey. It depends how much of this you are aware of. Because you don't know what you don't know. So you have to start somewhere. And then, are you able to overcome your emotions? Are you able to work with them? Like a friend. Remember, cannot be fear-based. Fear-based is negative thing. Become friend with your emotion. Doesn't matter how negative or whatever it is. Once you've accepted that, yes, this is what it is, I'm going to work on this, hug them. Accept it. Even if you're a very negative person, say, okay, I love you, man. Let's walk together. Let's have a talk. So first drop that negativity. That will reduce the impact immediately. Because first we are in denial mode. And after reduce only you can eliminate. Like we said before, acknowledge it, start reducing, working with it, and then we go for elimination. Very key factor. It sounds very simple, but please, it is extremely important, and only you can know. You can take help in certain cases, because sometimes you don't acknowledge your own behavior. Try to find out your behavior when you are under pressure. It will tell a lot about you. Just jot it down, because you want to see if it is repeating or not. And if you know that, yes, this is how I behave, like I mentioned initially, traffic, I'm late, how do I behave? There is a deadline, I have to complete a project, I'm behind, how do I behave? And here you may not realize, maybe others can give you feedback, but what's happening inside, the feelings and all, only you can tell. Combine both the information. So, why this is important? The body can camouflage. Whatever situation you are in, body tries to compensate, try to help you. So you may not see everything that is going on. You see at the very last stage, like example, in the disease, you don't know what's happening in the energy level. You only see when it comes to the physical level. because body is trying to, help you by compensating something. So find out how do you behave when you are under stress. Certain things will help you if you identify about you. Do you accept indications from the universe? Universe is talking to us. We just either we don't know how to, or we don't know this is a process, this is even happening, or we are in ego or denial stage. If you have too much ego, then you will avoid it. Universe will not come and talk to you in your language. It only talks with some indications. And that's why, when we say meditation means you have to lower the chatter going on in your head so that you can see. Sometimes things are in front of us and we don't see it. So that's where we start working on ourselves, not others, because it's so easy to preach others. Sometimes we say, oh yeah, it was a coincidence. Well, it may be a symbol or message from the universe. So once you start working on it, means work on the detachment. Expectations, because we attach first of all with everything. This is my house, this is my family, this is my phone, my car, or my work, or my job, or my title. And we have too much expectations from everyone around us. And when we have that, we become judgmental. So these are the three simple things. You have to slowly, it's like a super glue. You want to first make like a normal glue, and then you want to get rid of it. So slowly reduce, and then once we do that, then yes, you can really get anything in life. You can become anyone. These process sound simple. Affirmation. Oh, I just asked something and will I get it? Absolutely, yes. So you have to find the root cause. You have to get into your own life. You have to find what's happening. What is causing whatever is the effect is. So here is the thing. To find out the root cause for your emotional baggage, start from your current age and go back all the way when you were 7 years old. Now, why we are saying 7 years old? Because from your birth till 7, we stay in subconscious mind. That means you're learning. You observe others and you learn. After 7, you have developed your logic, your reasoning and all that thing, and then you get into your own decision making. So that's why. And if there is any significant event which has happened when you were younger than 7 years old, write down that also. So collect this information. Any major, minor thing that you can recall. Now, couple of things you have to identify from this, database or this information. Things you don't like. People you don't like. Anything, any person. Very critical. This is how universe is, kind of talking to you. This is there to tell you about you. Doesn't matter past life, or this life. This is just a kind of a guideline kind of things. But after you know these two, you have to know the incidents that is repeating in your life. And extremely important, incidents that are repeating with increased intensity. So these steps, once you follow, you may wonder, oh, my karma, my bad karma, my good karma, is it coming from my past life? Is it this life? Don't worry. In general, don't take it as a rule. Things you don't like, people you don't like, maybe it's your soul plan, purpose of life, and that's why it's coming from your past. Incidents, of course, you have to experience in this life. Then only they are incident, otherwise you don't know. So don't worry this or past. Important thing is what you do not like. Find out what is it. Sometimes we say, I don't like people talking loud, or I don't like people praising themselves. Or you may not like certain things. It could be, say, whether it's trekking, hiking, or music, or any sports. Why? What is it in it that you don't like? Oh, I have a height of fear, so I don't go for hiking. Height of fear. So you just nail that down. You say, I don't like this person. Why? Talks too much. Okay, so is it that your communication is not good? That's why you don't like people who have good communication? Find out what it is. It could be many different reasons. Everyone will have a different reason. So there could be numbers of possibilities. But find out why you don't like. There is always a reason. Not just because he said or she said this to me. That's a very minor one. That's, the story we give to ourselves. But find out what is it. If you can trust that this is your soul plan, you only ask that person to do this to you so that you learn something. That means that person is not bad. The person is only doing what you had asked. Pre-birth planning we are talking about. So obviously you will say, when did I ask that person? This is pre-birth planning. This is the soul level. So don't worry about this. Just say, what is it that is really you don't like about? And once you know in this example, okay, the person talks too much. Okay, so maybe I have to work on my communication. That's why I don't like that person. That person is teaching you something. And once we know, incident repeating, for example, I had a sprain. After a while, I had a fracture. After a while, something major. Now I'm in ICU. So this is increasing intensity. I had a loss of 1,000 rupees, then 10,000, and now 10 lakh. Increasing intensity. First time something happens, okay, but when you see, and there won't be many things happening in your life. There will be just couple, 2, 3, 4 max. And you know why? Every time I'm getting hurt in relationship or financial loss or job, I'm losing. Find out. And this will give you your root cause. So work on it, that why you don't like the thing, why you don't like the person. How do you feel and which emotion is attached to it? Simple things. Find the triggering point. Each one of us has one or the other triggering point. Sometimes when you meet with friends and all, we say, oh, don't say this to him, you will trigger him. It's so easy. Immediately we say, if you say this to the person, you're gonna, just get started. Because we know the moment this thing happens, this person doesn't like, and he just or she just triggers. That is what you want to know. What is it for you? It is your teacher. It is your soul plan. It is your purpose of life to improve. So don't neglect that. There is nothing wrong in it. Such simple mechanism, only thing is these steps. And because you are doing on yourself, sometimes it's difficult. Because we say, oh, no, I'm good. Nothing wrong in me. All the fault is my colleagues, my friends, my neighbor. But you cannot hide from yourself. If you do it, you'll be so happy that you did it. Now the question comes, how will I fix these issues? So this is what I call house of meditation. You can manifest anything in your life. Like I mentioned, you can get anything, you can become anyone. Absolutely no issue. Now, does it mean you have to go and research or, sit on Himalaya somewhere? No. Very simple mechanism. Start with any time, any number of minutes that you can say, okay, I can give myself so much time, even if it is 15 minutes. So start at least with 15 minutes in a day. If you have only 15 minutes, you say, okay, I will do 3 to 4 minutes of stretching, yoga. Yoga does not mean the whole asana. That's why stretching means up-yoga or just rotation of your joints. Why we need rotation of joint? Why it is the foundation? Because say when you wake up and you say, I will do meditation. If you jump directly on meditation, your joints, they are fluid and they are at sleep mode. You just woke up. So just by rotating, that fluid gets active and your joint is active. We were talking about chakras, 7 main, but every joint you have the sub-chakras. So when you meditate, you have a lot of cosmic energy coming, but if it's like highway is blocked. So you will be very slow. You will travel, but very slow. Just this 3 to 4 minutes of stretching, you prepare your body that energy will be coming. Be ready to receive it. It's like your guest. You know, there's a big party, 100 people coming today, but you are prepared. But if 100 people show up all of a sudden, now you'll be scared that, oh my God, how do I deal with it? After this, do the breathing. Why? Breathing or pranayama, I highly encourage Anulom Vilom without a pause. Most forgiving, any health condition, this is the easiest one to work with. But even if you do slow breathing, your brain gets a message and takes you out of what we call the stress mechanism or fight or flight system. Otherwise, you are bringing energy, but the brain says, no, I am in stress and I love it. I want to stay in stress. Why should I go out? It's addictive. Any hormones or chemicals the body releases, the body gets addicted to it. So when you have cortisol, adrenaline coming from stress, the body says, I want more of that. I don't want good stuff. But when you do breathing, you are bringing your body out of stress mechanism. And that's why I highly recommend just 1 minute before getting into deep meditation, after breathing, bring your affirmation in your subconscious mind. Because subconscious mind is where all the programming is, your habits. If you want to change, you cannot change on physical level. You have to get to the subconscious mind. There are only 2 ways to get to subconscious mind: sleep and meditation. But when you're sleeping, you have no control. But when you're in meditative mode, you have control, means you can work on your subconscious mind. So bring your affirmation. Imagine as if it has already happened. That, again, visualization is a part of it. Feel that emotion. Say, my knee, I have a pain and I want to go hiking. So my affirmation is, I'm already hiking. And I'm visualizing I'm hiking. The pleasure, the joy it will give me, I'm experiencing that. Body cannot differentiate if it is true or I'm just dreaming. That's the beauty of it. And many experiments have proven that. And to work on the emotion thing, once you have identified, major 2 things, forgiveness and gratitude. We get stuck with this anger that how did, this person did this to me or said this to me and I'm angry. 5 years, 10 years. I'm only hurting myself, not the other person. We are not saying become friends with the other person or whatever, but forgive the person. Take that anger out of you. Relieve yourself from that pain. And on the other side, all the positive things you are happening and getting in your life, be grateful. Why? In a day, normally, most of us will get stuck on 1 or 2 or 3 things which has happened against our wish, negative things in our life. And we forget there were 20 which were in our favor or something good. But we get stuck at those 1, 2 or 3 items in the day. And every day we do the same thing. So when you do gratitude, the body releases all those positive hormones, right? You were talking about. And all of a sudden you feel, 1 or 2 things were bad, but at least there were so many good things. All of a sudden your brain starts functioning differently. Simple 2-minute mechanism. And when we are in meditation with these thoughts, with these steps, now even if you're doing meditation for only 10 minutes because 5 minutes you did all this preparatory work, those 10 minutes will be much more effective. You will go in meditation right away rather than you sit right away in meditation and you're wondering, okay, I'm still thinking a lot of thoughts, my body is paining and all those things. So don't think you're losing 5 minutes. The benefit will amplify. So, Masters, as I mentioned, this is a summary of this topic, which is emotional baggage. So if you have any questions or comments, please, anyone, feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Gaurav ji. That was such amazingly put forward. Friends, we are getting into the question and answer Q&A section. If you have any questions, you may raise your hand and you can ask directly or put your questions on the chat. You mentioned about the emotional, I mean, the various reasons why these emotional baggages are coming on. Now, you also highlighted upon how to identify and remove those baggages. But we know, I mean, adults like us, we have been carrying this baggage from our, since childhood. What are the ways how we can manage, we as a parent or we as an adult, we also influence in many ways to, instill these emotional baggages into the kids, into, younger crowd, youngsters, since you have dealt with, training to the youth. Maybe if I wish to pick some of your brain on this thing. How do we do? What are the things that we need to take care, see that these emotional baggages are not instilled in the young minds?
So that's a fantastic question, Sriyoji, and you are 100% correct. We sometimes unintentionally end up, contributing in those kind of situation for our child. So, and that's one of the reason I really love working with youth, because to me, the right time is obviously yesterday to start working on anything for anyone. But eventually, if we really see as a big picture, it is not when the child is born, then how to take care of the child. It is before even it is conceived. That is the right time. So if we bring youth and make them aware of such things, we can really avoid a lot of issues. When you see newborns are born with many different medical, health, emotional, there are different kind of situations. Why? Because during or even before, just before conceiving, if the mother or the father, or in the family, there is a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on, it is ultimately energy. It is going in the product here, we are talking about the child. So we cannot say we have a lot of emotions, we have a lot of stress, but the child will be perfectly healthy. Because you are basically creating, you are the creator of the child. So your energy is going in the making of the child. And once the child is born, of course, then the child gets energy of the immediate surrounding. Otherwise, through the mother's womb, it is getting. But really, if people can encourage their children that, get to this when you're teenage or even before, so that it's not too late. Because once you find some issue with your child, it is really, may I say, a painful thing for the parents to go through that. It's not easy sometimes. And good thing is you can avoid, if not all, a lot of it, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is, okay, I have child, when that stage has gone. One thing which we all can do is be mindful of your words. Any single word we are speaking, we are basically giving that energy to the person. So if you are negative, then you are gifting your own child negative energy. If you think from this point of view, I'm sure many parents will avoid most of the, negative talk. Because sometimes in our out of love and all, we say, oh, you don't know this, you can't do this, or look again, you made a mistake. And we have no idea how major impact it's going to be in that person's life. What kind of story that person is building up in his or her head, we have no idea. From outside, the kid will be smiling. We have no idea what's going on inside. So be mindful of any word that we speak.
Can we heal the young child by healing as we become aware of mistakes very late?
So regarding this, heal the young child, if the child is very young, obviously, say toddler or newborn, we can't expect the child to do any such thing, breathing, meditation, or any such thing. In that situation, yes, if we improve our energy, we will impact the child as well. It works both ways, negative, positive. So if Negative it works, positive also it will work, because ultimately the child is learning from you, because less than 7 years means I am in the, like a sponge, I'm absorbing everything. So if I am reducing my negative energy and then zero and then going to the positive energy, I'm certainly benefiting the child. So that is the first thing. Now, when the child is teenager or something, right, then we have to get the child do all these things and not just rely on that we are positive, but the child is against all these thoughts or having, no, this thing doesn't work, I don't believe in it, then it won't. So depending on the age, we can go these two different routes.
How can we help our child having emotional issue?
See, this one is, again, irrespective of the age. If we say, first, fix ourselves. Children less than 7, as we said, they are sponge, they're absorbing. So they are learning from us. If I'm always yelling in the house, if I'm, anger burst and everything, I cannot expect my child to be, very calm and all that. And then the person is building the personality and, your behavior and everything, habits. So if it has to be corrected, even if it is whatever the age, doesn't matter, I have to fix first. When, even say teenagers, when they see the parents changing, at least they will listen to you. Otherwise, it becomes like, at work, sometimes you may have heard people say, don't do what I do what I say. Right? So I cannot say, I will keep doing whatever I want, but you do the right thing. It's not easy just to tell and you imagine kids will do it. No, change yourself first. The question comes, why? Two things. We are, civilized animals and we live in civilization. However, our journey is solo. I am a soul. I have a purpose of life, my soul plan. I have siblings, parents, neighbors, every different characters around me to help me in learning what I have come to learn. However, my journey is my journey. So even if I have some issue with my child or I'm worried about parents or anyone, put it aside. It is only there to help you in your journey. So if we take this wisdom, then I am working on myself, which is in my hand. Otherwise, what we do, we are always trying to change the whole world. I am not changing anything, but I want my parents to change, my kids to change and all that. That doesn't work. So first, look what you can improve on yourself before working on your child. Lead by example, like we say. Two things will happen. Not only you will fix, because as we said, if you don't like a person, find out why. That person is doing only because you had requested pre-birth planning. So if your child is behaving in some way which you don't like, maybe if it is part of your soul plan, that's why it's behaving. When you fix yourself, the behavior will change because now the job is done. So take it that way and work both rather than just focusing on the child. That's what I would suggest.
How can I help my 18-year-old battling mood disorder, depression, heal and emerge out of it?
Again, in this case, the solution, I would say, I know in such cases, people say, no, don't ask the person to close the eyes or meditation and all that. I know I worked with one person and little over 18, I think at that time he was 20 but very close to that age. But absolutely, not only came out of it and did so well, because ultimately what is disorder or depression? It's all psychosomatic or your emotional thing. There is some story which the person has accepted in his or her mind that I'm not good or fear or there is something. So we have to get to those levels. Whatever we talked about today, absolutely it's valid. And these kind of things really it works wonderful because ultimately it is emotion which is causing this. And the more, don't overcomplicate it. If you just go step by step, work with this first. Why I say this is because, especially when we talk of depression and all those things, the medicine that they give, side effects are so, I mean, that's a depression, a case for depression itself, if you read the side effect. So start with basic, which has no side effect. Start working, look into your life. What have you done, right? Or what has happened with you, where the child is getting that, that whatever the narrative in child's mind is, and work that way. So the child do not think that everybody is just, looking at me. But child says, okay, this person is doing something, my father doing something, mother doing something, and I have to do this. It becomes a group effort rather than everybody looking down at me. And you fix the energy overall, not just one person. So this is what I would suggest. Again, start with simple, because I don't know the details. So doesn't matter how severe or minor it is, still start with this. If the person understands the concept and have trust in it, the result will be much faster. You will be amazed how soon the person can revive and come out of it. However, what we have to remember in such cases is, as I was saying before, sometimes people come in meditation and leave. Sustain it. It's not that, okay, today I see a positive sign, I'm done. No, sustain it till really, like anything we say, go for a mandala. Why? Mandala, because, you want it, habit to be formed. You want your neurons, because ultimately, whenever we are trying to change a habit, there is a network in our brain. The neurons, which is nothing but brain cells, they link together, they fire together. When we are changing, we have to delink, means you have to open that circuit. It takes time. And then you are forming new circuit, because you are changing your habit. So to give time to the body to be able to do that, ensure that for a certain period at least continue. And it is understandable, like a person who's in this condition right away, if you say meditate, it's not easy. So all you do is, you go step by step. First, you do it so that person know what meditation means, because in such condition, there could be different meanings of meditate. Different people say different ways of doing meditation. So start with, I would say, the bottom, which is Upayoga or stretching, as I said, then go for breathing, and then go meditation. Don't go directly. And that will step by step, because stretching is easy. Anyone can do. Slow breathing, anyone can do. So the person will gain confidence that, okay, this I can do. And please don't try straight away 1 hour. Meditation, I say, start with 10, maximum 15 minutes. Let the body tell you. Let the body say, okay, now I can do 20, now I can do 25. So that you're not punishing the body. Go step by step. And you will see very soon, you will be able to do more and more. But go step by step. If possible, along with this, introduce the concept of quantum physics, means how this works. Not quantum physics as a very detailed something, how our thoughts really impact our well-being. If that connection, like we have seen in the previous, a bit of it in the session, if that connection, the person can understand that, yes, my thoughts is reaching my health, the person, doesn't matter what emotional or mental state, I think it will help in motivating and understanding why I'm asked to do this.
Correct. Absolutely. We have Rajan sir, our chairman of IFSS here. Rajan sir, good evening.
Good evening. So
nice to see you here, sir.
Yeah, excellent. Namaste. So it was wonderful, I should say, because Gauravji has really dealt with all the important points on emotional baggage. But a few things I would like to add, if you don't mind, Gauravji.
Please.
Yeah. That is, I wanted to say one thing. That is, I appreciate that you said you have to do a lot of self-introspection. That's what you meant. That as to why a particular thought has come to me, why I have been having a negative thought in respect of X or Y or Z. And all this really helps, because as far as the spiritual intelligence of a person is concerned, we start with IQ, intelligentsia quotient, and then we go to EQ, that is emotional quotient. So in this emotional quotient or emotional sensitivity, I find that there are certain attributes in addition to what you have said, especially as far as your positive thinking and imaging and visualizing and all is concerned. That is particularly in relation to food, your food habits. And that is what we have been trained, and that is what we have been following as insofar as the Indian Federation of Spiritual Scientists is concerned. That is, we give a lot of focus on having sattvic food. Sattvic food means food which is essentially plant-based or fruit-based, and it is not created out of any sort of violence. So this sort of food really nurtures the body, nurtures the consciousness too, because your diet is related to your consciousness, and that is what we believe. So once your food is okay, then your emotional balance also happens to be automatically taken care of. Because we found, at least from our experience, and insofar as the law of karma is concerned, we know that it is only the aspect of killing animals which really leads to a person being non-emotional or without any emotion when he sees any violent act being done. So it's very important that we give some importance or priority to the nature of food that we take into our body, because our body, as you said, every emotion, it affects our body. It may be good or bad, but then if the body is taken care of by means of having only sattvic food, then you will definitely have an emotion. Suppose a child, a 5-year-old boy is being beaten mercilessly by the mother. Unless you have had that sattvic nature inbuilt in you, you will not feel sorry for the child. That happens even when you flog a dog or throw stones at a dog and it starts bleeding. You will definitely feel so sorry and so bad. That will happen only if you have been emotionally sensitive to it. If that sensitivity is not there, it will continue like that, and you will have no emotional upset at all. So it is important that we give some focus on the food, and as you rightly said, our dhyana or meditation will help us go a long way. And insofar as the period of meditation is concerned, we all believe, as Gautam Buddha has also indicated in many of his in his life history, that our body and our meditation both are interrelated according to our age. So we do according to our age. Suppose I am 40 years old, I should do at least 40 minutes of meditation per day. And as you keep on increasing your doses of meditation according to your age, then naturally your body, mind and soul are kept in equilibrium. So as Linda Goodman says, your illness is caused only because there is no alignment between your body, mind and intellect. So as you very rightly said, emotional backlog can be averted by being very, very thoughtful in knowing what we have said wrong and what we have done wrong, and also analyzing, why did I think so? Why did I think bad of my neighbor? Or why did I curse my neighbor? Because I had a small fight and I had. So I always say everything of him is wrong. His son, he may be walking along the road, but I think this fellow should fail in his exam. Or I tell someone, this fellow has never been studying. I think he will again fail. So these sort of words also create a lot of, I should say, pollute the atmosphere, pollute that emotional body a lot. So we should abstain from doing it, and we should be very, very careful with our words too, because words are the index of the soul. Face is the index of the mind, and words are the index of the soul. So the development of the soul depends upon how well you speak and how greatly you speak to nurture others and also to encourage others in a better manner. So thank you, Gauravji. It was very great. We thank you for having come on behalf of the IFSS. I welcome you again in some other session too. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajanji, and very well said. Absolutely. Sattvic food goes like it's so harmonized with our soul. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Rajan sir, for adding those beautiful wisdom words of wisdom on this session. Thank you so much, Gauravji, for taking our time. I know you're a busy man, you travel, and it was such a pleasure listening to your experiences and words of wisdom today. And as Rajan sir said, we would definitely want to have you on another session on IFSS platform. I'll coordinate that with you separately. We'll be more than happy. So on behalf of all the organizing committee and the participants, I will end this session today now, and I once again express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to one and all to join this session. Thank you so much. Have a very nice weekend, and have a nice day, Gauravji. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sunilji, and thanks all masters. Thank you. Thanks, Ranjanji.